Good evening, everybody. God bless your hearts. The Millionaire Mindset. We had Stronger Money Mindset with the internationally renowned Coach Kev. Amen. We bless God for you. We learned something. You know, you all have real money, and some of us have real money problems. And what we want to all share, Coach Kev has an interesting story, absolutely amazing. He has free flow of the house tonight to operate in the way that he needs to, any way that he needs to. He'll take your questions. I want to ask you all to make sure that you log in to his site one more time, that you log in to his site. Now, y'all know how we do this thing, man. We're going to keep it blessed, and we're going to keep it brief, but I want y'all to get a hold of this. There is so much poverty running through our neighborhoods. We have to approach our money in a better way. I need to say this. At the same time, Coach Kev is here doing incredible work, not just here, in many places. But here's the giant that we need to slay before we bring him and let him just flow, is that sometimes you can cause some haters that think, you know, I'm doing the same thing. How come I'm not over there yet? Don't do that. I'm going to say it one more time. Don't do that. Don't do that. I need you to know we're doing something different, occupying this space differently, because there is so many of us have so many adverse money issues. It's going to take all of us. So I want to affirm you, if in fact this is your space, this financial space, credit, burial preparation, finance, investment, some of y'all doing crypto, whatever it might be, if in fact that you are an expert in your field, it's so many of us that need your services. Let me put it like this here, hashtag, this is my quote, isn't a broke folk for everybody. Amen. So our job is to get you, next hashtag gonna be on the t-shirt. Our job is to get you unbroke, hashtag unbroke. Y'all all right? Amen, amen, amen. So newsflash, we're here tonight. It's going to be broadcast tonight. But from this moment on, we'll do little snippets so you'll know it's happening. But we want you in the house. You need to feel this energy that this young man is bringing here tonight. You need to feel this energy. So we want you in the house. We found out a lot of y'all sneaking. Figure y'all just gonna stay home and pull it off of there. Okay, well we're gonna have to make an adjustment. You need your money to be made right. You're in a place I call the money matrix, but right now we got Coach Kev in the house, and he is going to bring this stronger money mindset. Amen, amen, amen. Hashtag stronger money mindset. That's Coach Kev's, y'all. Trademarked. God bless you. Y'all put your hands together. Y'all happy? Holy, having a whole bunch of money hands together. Coach Kev, come on.
Wow. Thank you. Oh, man. It's been an interesting week so far, right? On so many levels, so many levels. And I want to thank you, Pastor, just for allowing me to consistently share. And one of the things that I can tell you is knowledge is not power, right? Applied knowledge is. If Pastor give you a verse, or he give you something to chew on, you got to go dig deeper with it to get it, and then you have to apply it. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Right? So thank you so very much, Pastor. Thank you for New Jerusalem for allowing me to be here. This is family, and I want to dig right into it. I want to start off with something. Think about this. This is stronger money mindset, right? So if you're wondering the value of money, go try to ask somebody to borrow some. I'm going to say that one more time. If you're trying to figure out the value of money, find anybody, family, friend, find the person who owe you some money. and ask them for some money. They're going to show you the value of it. And the fact that we get a chance to not only get this information, but leverage it is just an amazing thing. So I want to get into it. Today has just been an amazing thing, amazing day. And I want you to know that everything we have is right in our hands. We just got to see it. And as I go through some of this information, I want you to not only take it in, but I want you to apply it. But let's kind of back up. So last week we had a great Q&A session at the end. So many questions I couldn't even get in my car, Pastor. Man. But it was good. But I have one question for everybody here. See, this is the benefit of being here. We're going to give out some cash today, right? You can't get that online. Try that.
Y'all missing money.
Try to get it online.
Y'all missing money.
We're going to put it right through this little hole right now. No, we're not. So I just have a question. So last week or last month when we did this, can anybody share with me what are some of the things that they took away from last week that they applied? Yes. And she's a winner. Hey, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So if you guys missed what she said, the fact that if you're a renter, you can actually report your rental payments to improve your credit score. That is interesting. Again, imagine if I had all this knowledge and I didn't want to share it. If I would have met me 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure I would have made different decisions. So I want to get into this really quick. We talked about budgeting last time. We talked a little bit about debt reduction. Today, let's kind of go over this just so we do have some new listeners. We have some new people in the house, and I want to introduce myself. So my government name is Kevin Blake. Everybody knows me as Coach Kev. No, I'm not a football coach. I'm not that good, and I'm not a basketball coach because I'm not that tall. But I want to share with you, I was in a situation what pushed me to really help people understand finances. My credit was horrible. My finances was horrible. I got paid on Friday, and I was broke by Saturday. I'm going to say that one more time. I got paid on Friday, and I was already broke by Saturday. And I want you to just think about that because there's a lot of you maybe in the same situation or you know somebody who's in the same situation. So one of the things I had to employ was discipline. So I remember I wanted to get a house. I wanted to apply for a home, and the realtor told me that my credit was trash. She didn't tell me it was bad. That would have been nice. She said it was trash, and that hurt me to the core. Everything was in my wife's name. So if you've ever needed a cosigner, you ever cosign for somebody or somebody cosign for you and they think it's theirs too? Oh, y'all missed that, right? You ever cosign for somebody, meaning you're going to cosign or they're going to cosign for you for the car, right? But then they want you to take them to the store. They want you to take them to CVS and Walmart because they co-signed for you. So I remember being in that situation where my credit was horrible. Everything was listed in my wife's name. I had a Honda Elantra, a Hyundai. I love that Hyundai because it was the best on gas mileage. But even that, I think it was $13,000, $14,000. I couldn't even get approved for that car. So I got in a position where it stuck with me because my mentor told me a long time ago, fix what you're ashamed of. I was so ashamed of my credit. I started working on my credit. I started reporting my rent. I actually started to invest into secure credit cards because I couldn't even get offers in the mail. That's how bad my credit was. Fast forward, I ended up getting approved for a house, ended up getting approved for a car. But my point is, the things that I needed to do from trash to triumph, I had to do something differently. So I'm a homeowner. My credit score is well over 700, so I can live the way I live. My wife is 36 years old, retired, right? And I know, that's that's not easy to do, right? And it takes money. And my family is no different from your family. You're fighting for your family. You're doing everything you can. You're putting things aside for the future of your family, just like I'm doing. But today, the information I'm going to go over, I really want you to hone it, but also make those changes that you have to. Now, I'm going to talk about, it's going a little too fast. One of the things we talked about last time, I'm not going to go all the way through what we spoke about last time, but this was a hot topic. And I want to start here on the second volume of this Stronger Money Mindset, and that's paying the minimum balance. That was a hot topic. So maybe you're in a situation where you have a credit card and you're paying minimum balance. Crazy story. So yesterday I was at the barbershop, and my barber always he asked me a million financial credit, and I can't go nowhere because I'm in the chair. I can't get up. And as I was answering all of his questions, one of his clients was like, hey man, I'm in a situation where I'm in a consolidation. I want y'all to listen to this. He had about 12 credit cards, and maybe out of the 12, 3 was in good standing, but the other 9 he put on the consolidation. Right? Here's what he caught later on after he had already made multiple payments. So the point of this is don't do a consolidation. He figured out he could do it himself. So with the 9 cards, he said, well, coach, I've been paying this for like 2 years and I only paid off 1 card. I said, you're forgetting the middleman. I said, all that is someone being a middleman to what you could do. But remember, you don't know what you don't know. He didn't know that. By the time he figured that out, it was literally him eavesdropping. And he said, well, can you help me with my credit? I said, well, you technically don't need credit. You just got to wait this out right now. I said, but what I would do is see if you can terminate that contract, because these other 9, you can knock those out. And he literally pulled up his phone. Literally, it was thousands of dollars in other payments and fees. And he said, that could have went to the card. Exactly. So the purpose of that story is, if you've ever in a situation where it seems a little overwhelming, do not do a consolidation. Just be very disciplined about what you're doing. And this slide is up here to remind you, don't pay the minimum payment. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of us don't realize. And these credit cards do not come with instructions at all. I remember when I started paying my credit cards on time and doing it on time, they literally did not call me. They just upped the limit to entice you. They're like, okay, he paying he giving us 2,000, 3,000 shot. Let's get him. And I remember calling them and I say, hey, Chase, you guys don't have to keep increasing the limit. It's okay, Mr. Blake, we're not going to do that anymore. 90 days later, went up again. Now, because it went up, that didn't give me room to go ball out of control in Walmart. That's why I had to learn the discipline. Now, 15, 20 years ago, brand new J's, I would have had the hat, a brand new watch, a new jacket. I probably would have bought you something. Because I didn't understand the value of money. If you want to know the value of money, go ask somebody to borrow some. So my point is, don't make the minimum payment, because if you do that, you'll be in a situation where you're turning your wheels and you're literally going nowhere fast. And I know that hit home for some of you. But here's a trick. 2 things you could do. You can make more money. Or one of the things I talked about last week, what I had to do, I literally had to go through my bank account and unhook the $12, the $15, the $9, all of the 19,000 trials that I tried, but now they get me for the full amount that I forgot. So those are different tactics and strategies that you can use, and use that money to put down on your credit cards. Very, very important too. Now I want to go over something as well. Let me get to this slide. there's a few different type of debts. Now, this can be argued in so many different levels depending on who you are. One of the first things that I would tell you to knock off and pertaining to debt will be, of course it says secure loans, but think about your mortgage. That's a no-brainer. Your mortgage would be the first thing that you would pay if you get into challenges. Why? Because at least, my mom used to say, at least we got a roof over the head. You know what I'm talking about. The lights off, baby, but at least we got a roof over our head. So that'll be the first debt that I would tell you that you would maybe want to invest in. Now, the second one, it's a little shaky, student loans. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Over the years, I've seen and heard horror stories, meaning an individual will go to college, go those 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, depending if they're getting a master or a bachelor's. And then they rack up all this student loan debt. And now they're in a position where they have to decide, are they going to eat? Are they going to put towards their student loans? Or are they going to go for deferment? So if you have student loans, here's what I recommend you do. One, reach out to whoever the company is or the entity and have them either stop your payments, put it on deferment, do whatever you have to do to minimize your payment so you can save more money to knock out your credit cards or to knock out your debt or to save. Now, again, some people may not agree with that. I know some people that pay them student loans quick. And no different from student loans, here's another one that's super important, but it coincide with the home, taxes. Now, if you're a homeowner like me, your taxes went up. But here's why our taxes went up. Stay with me. In order for your taxes to go up, the value of your property had to go up. Right? So that's a win-win. That's a win-win. So you want to pay those taxes, pay all those important debts. But the most important thing is figuring out how you can find the money from places that you already have it. I remember someone telling, well, Coach Kev, I don't have any extra money. I said, let me see your phone. She didn't want to give me her phone. Because if she would have given me her phone, I could have saw everywhere, every part where her money's going. On our iPhone, they have this thing called subscriptions. You ever saw that? Did you know you can log into your iPhone and unsubscribe to almost every single thing to save yourself money? Look, she looking at her phone right now. Dang, I got to unsubscribe. He got me. You're welcome, Pastor. So unsecured debt as well, different creditors, credit cards. Some people use that last. A lot of us do that first. One last tip on your debt. If you have an opportunity to pay your entire credit card off, do it. People always ask me, well, Coach, should I do the minimum payment? No, don't do the minimum payment. You're going to be here forever. But treat every credit card like an American Express. Do you know with American Express, you can't do partial payment. They will laugh at you and close your card. You have to pay in full. But if you have that mindset on every single card, that'll help you. Now, again, you may be saying to yourself, well, I don't have enough money. Remember the tactics I showed you. Find a way to either make more money or find a way to save more money. Last month, I told you guys, my wife and I both were paying for Netflix. We both were paying for Hulu. How does that happen? I wasn't paying attention. And now we fighting on who gonna cancel what first. You cancel yours. No, you cancel yours. I got it first. You need to cancel yours. And then I found out that with a certain subscription with your telephone, you can get it for free. So different important assets. We spoke about this, but I do want to touch base on some things that I hear a lot about homes. Most people think that homes are assets and they're actually liabilities. They're liabilities. It's taking money from you every single month. Now, if you take that home and you put on Airbnb and it's bringing you cash flow, ooh, now it was an asset. Now it's an asset. But even with that little simple thing, we don't know what we don't know. Most people don't even know that. So when you rushing to buy a home, which is great, but just remember, it's a liability, it's not an asset. I teach my kids, get 2 bikes. One you can ride and one you can rent. I better get this money. It's interesting as you start to, I remember when I started changing the way I made decisions, my kids saw me go to the store and put things back. And they were like, well, Dad, you good. Why you putting this back? I wanted them to see me make a decision and then retract on that decision real time. I wanted them to see me save. And then once we were done, I say, man, I just saved $18. I put the lamb back. I put my boiled peanuts back. Oh, y'all like the boiled peanuts. Because I told myself the boiled peanuts has a lot of sodium, so I only get 1 a month. And indirectly, I'm saving money at the same time. So other assets, cool thing I love is retirement account. We talked about that before. 401k to me is turning into 101ks. Because here's what a 401k is. You're giving your money, most of the time is at your job. They're taking your money and then they're invested into whatever they want. You can do that too. I'm not a financial advisor. I want to tell you that for disclaimers. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you these are tactics and strategies that we can use. And just so you know, with 401k, your goal should be maxing it out every single year, which is $6,000. Now for me, I automatically say $12,000 because I got to max the wife's own out and I got to max mine out. And then with that same retirement 401k, you use that to invest. Now you may be asking me, well, Coach Kell, man, how am I going to figure out how to invest? Here's an easy way to invest. Give me a company you feel like never is going to go away. Apple. It's a good company to invest in. I don't think they're going to go away. Somebody say what? Coca-Cola. A great company. I don't care how much Pepsi and Coca-Cola battle. I think Coca-Cola going to stay around for a long time. My point is, invest into the companies you feel may be around forever. And nothing's forever but the Most High, right? So I want you to remember that as you're going through whatever you're going through, as you're putting money aside, doing what you have to do, but just remember the liabilities versus assets. My friend mentioned this, and I'm going to reiterate it today. I want to remind you that if you're renting right now, just know you can actually report your rental payments to the credit bureaus. Now, I have a connection with that. I have a discount. I'll give you all of that. But it reports to 2 credit bureaus. Now, that's critical because it's 3 that most people know about: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. These are the 3 major credit bureaus. But if you're renting and you're not reporting your rent, and every single month you're paying your rent, do not expect the landlord to tell you, hey, you know you can report your rent. They don't want you to leave. They're not going to tell you that. Well, she laughing. She like, they got me. Right? They're not going to tell you that, but you can actually report your rental payments, and it could go back at least 2 years. Now, it's going to go on the TransUnion and the Equifax, not the Experian. But here's the trick. You can go directly to Experian and do it with them, so you can knock out all 3. Man, I hope y'all this is a stronger money mindset. That was worth the whole ticket. Think about that. And here's what I want you to know. Let everybody else know about that. Because I promise you, if you line up 10 people that's renting, 9 out of the 10 have no idea they can report their rental payments to the credit bureaus to boost their credit score to help them become a homeowner so they can build wealth. We're gonna charge them next time at the door. Okay? Now remember the 50-30-20 rule. Okay? Now, again, this can be different for everybody. 50%, right? 50% of your monthly net for your necessities. Now, we can debate on what's your necessity. I had to learn when I got married what's my needs and what's my wants. Everything in the store I thought was a want. Then I thought it was a need. And then my wife gave me a list. Okay, some of y'all not married yet. Okay, I got you. Okay, so 50% goes there. 30%, which I would say maybe 10%, should go to your wants, because you got to live life. We all hear this phrase, YOLO. If you ever heard YOLO, that means you only live once. So you gotta enjoy life. And I'm not gonna lie, that's the excuse I tell my wife every single time I buy a suit, when I buy a watch, when I buy, YOLO, babe, YOLO. YOLO. This is under the wants category. Yeah, babe, but you just bought another watch. YOLO, babe, YOLO. Right? And then of course, I think the bigger portion should go towards saving. You rather be prepared for opportunity than the opportunity coming, you're not prepared. Opportunities will come. This is what we're praying for. What I'm doing right now all over the country, I prayed for this. Now, I did not know God was going to give me so much to do, but it's worth it to me. Because if I would have known some of the stuff I know now, when I was 17, 18, 19, I would have made different decisions. My kids would have been in a better position. We're already behind. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Systematically, we're already behind. So we got to position ourselves. So I would say the savings could be 30%. It can be even 40%. When I was saving up for my house, y'all ready for the number? 70% I was saving. 70%. And I literally changed my entire life with that mindset. Remember I told you earlier, the third credit bureau is Experian. So you definitely want to report your rent on that one as well, because I don't want you to think it's just those two that I mentioned. And it's free for you to do it. If it's free as me, we call this free 99. Free 99. Now, I want you to think about your net worth. Now, this is all fancy, but the debt you owe, subtract it from your total assets. Now, if you don't have assets and you don't know your net worth, here's what I want you to do. Minimize as much debt as you can. That's just it. Increase your income. Increase your cash flow. Figure out a way and pray on it, how your money can make you money. I remember when I have this, it was a mistake. I showed my son this, but so I have this investment thing that I have where I put the money in and it returns 3% a week. So my son is watching it compounding. This boy thinking of PlayStation 5, that boy thinking of shoes, new everything. And I'm like, whoa, son, whoa. Daddy rich, you're not rich yet. you don't got no skin in the game. You ain't putting out $1 in here. And he asked a magic question. Daddy, when can I do it? That's what I wanted him to ask me. And my response to him, son, keep saving. Keep saving. Keep saving. Keep saving. But that money, he doesn't know. A portion of that money is going to go to help him and my daughter get their own property, because I refuse to have them leave our house to then go rent after I just did a whole 10, 15-minute conversation about rent. And my daughter said, well, Daddy, can I get an apartment complex so I could get one room and then rent the rest out? I said, you got it, baby girl. I said, but we got, we got to make sure the area, it's not over here where we at, but yes. And you could be the property manager. You could collect the rent. But to change her and my son's mindset, our kids, our families, our friends, they don't listen to anything we tell them. They just do what we do. They just do what we do. They literally duplicate everything we do. That's why I always love to have my kids see me fail. I want them to understand how to build a net worth. And the people that have the largest net worth are homeowners. But they know the things to do to build wealth. They understand how money works. They know discipline. And I really believe that we all will be in that position where we can teach our kids information. I mentioned last month that in the state of Florida, you have to have financial literacy to graduate. This is an amazing thing. Because you know what happens when you graduate? Life happens. Bills. When I was 17 years old, I was on my own. My mom moved to Tallahassee. This is how I knew I was on my own. It was me and God. That's it. I called my mom one month. I said, Mommy, you remember you told me you was going to give me half of the rent? Yeah, baby, but I just moved over here to Tallahassee. I can't. I said, okay. I put that on my mental bed. Okay. Month 2. I said, Mommy, you remember you told me to call you next month. You was going to give me half of the rent. I'm 17. Think about this. My mom said, son, I can't do it. Boom. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. I had to figure it out. I had to figure out, what am I going to do? How can I even build from what I thought was nothing? And it was actually a lot. She gave me independence. And I really believe that as we pass this information, as you're building your legacy and building your net worth and building your value, the goal is to pass that information on to our kids, or really technically anybody who want to hear. You ever try to tell a family or friend something and they don't hear you? And you know you right? Guess what I do? Okay, no problem. I just walk away. I used to try to convince them. It was getting a little tiring trying to convince them. So your net worth is probably not where you want it to be. But if you build up your value in properties, if you build up your income, if you continue to help, again, pray on how your money can make you money. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but there's so many things that you can do to position yourself to generate revenue. And I promise you, if you pray on it, he's going to let you know. Now, one of the biggest words that changed my life is diversification, to diversify. How do you diversify? So let's say, for instance, you have, let me give you a real life story. So I have a good friend of mine who helped me and my wife purchase our home, and we closed in 27 days. Her and her husband's in real estate. Watch this. They're both in real estate. So when the real estate market went down, who was affected? Both of them. They should have diversified the income. One should have been in real estate, and one should have been in another industry. So some of the ways that I'm diversifying, I have an investment account that's rolling. I have the 401k that's rolling. I have residual income, which is another one. I have notes investing, which is investing into promissory notes, which I'm gonna probably have to do a whole nother class on that for you guys. And then let's say, for instance, I have other things where, I'm not gonna call that an investment because that's if they pay me back. I have friends that call me for certain things. I got this idea, coach. Boy, it's like the third idea. But I'm not going to count that as income. But my point is, besides that, also, I have some stocks that I invest in that pays me dividends. Okay? So it's like profit sharing. So when a company makes money, whatever that entity is, they're going to pay me back dividends. I'm going to make some money off the profit as the stock go up, but they're also going to give me some dividend. So here's something to write down. Find dividend stocks. Again, I'm not going to be the one trading it. All that you can learn. I'm giving you the information. Please don't have me go and push the buttons for you too. Then I got to charge you. Okay? Knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is. So you want to diversify. You want to have money in multiple different areas. So that way, if something was to get shaky, you have this other income to fall back on. And I had to learn that the hard way. My next few things that I'm going to invest in, my daughter's a baker. She does well. I told her I'm going to be a silent investor, and I get to try all products. I said, we need to put you to work. You do great with these bun cakes and all this, but you can sell them. You're putting in that work. So I would invest into her product, but subconsciously I'm teaching her reaping and sowing. I'm gonna sow into her, but I want her to duplicate that same exact concept. So you want to diversify what's going on. Now that also happens in real life. I remember the time I decided to actually start working outside of my job. Crazy story. And it made me diversify how I was bringing in more income. I was at my job. I used to work at an ad agency helping business owners. And I was training this guy. And then I was training this other young lady. And God put me in a position of being at the lunch table with the controller, basically the payroll lady. She gave me a nugget and a half just because I held the door for her. Be nice to everybody. You never know who gonna drop that nugget on you. She said, well, Mr. Blake, I have to tell you this. You're a good guy. I'm not supposed to say anything. I said, go ahead, give it to me. Some of these people are starting off with more money than you. And it hurts me. I was like, why does it hurt you? She's like, I don't think that's fair. This is the controller. This is the payroll lady. Now, most people would have got pissed. Now, that was my immediate feeling. But I went inside my car and I gave God one of them angry prayers. Don't act like I'm the only one who gave God an angry prayer. I was confused. I'm talking about, I kind of went in on it. I'm glad I'm still here because I was not nice. I was crying and all, dribbling and snow, all of it. And that was the best gift because it pushed me to look at other ways to diversify my income. Then I started making money outside of that system. Then I started saving it and saving it and saving it. The only mistake I made was I told my employees that I was going to quit. I shouldn't have told them that, but I'm glad I told them that. Because a few of them got inspired. Why? Because people don't do what you say, they do what you do. One of my good friends ended up quitting. The next 2 years after that, she ended up making, I think we was making like 60, 70,000. Literally, she made $250,000. Now I asked her, I said, Yami, what if you want to never quit? To diversify your income. She said, Coach, I was afraid. I said, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. What are you afraid of? Failing. I said, girl, fail forward. Failing is inevitable. We gotta, how do we grow without failing? But if I did not take the leap of faith, if I did not open and hold that door, she wouldn't have dropped that jewel on me. I wouldn't have took it seriously. I wouldn't have went inside the car and had that real conversation with God for him to show me what I needed to do. And then doors start to open up. I'm not sure what conversations you having with him, but I promise you, he always show up and show out. I want you to look at this real quick because you probably can't see it, but compounding. I'm going to share something with you about compounding interest. We know what it is because if we're paying your credit card for 90 days, it's going to compound. That original $10,000 you owe will turn to $16,000. Why? Because the interest is compounding. The interest is compounding on a new bill, on a new bill, on a new bill, on a new bill. But it works the other way too. Imagine you had a way to compound your income that's coming in, and you started with 500, and then you get a 5% interest. Let's say then you end up with 550. So now remember, now that compound, that increase is going off 550, not the original 500. Then you do it again. Now it's higher than that. Maybe it's 600, maybe it's 700. But my point is figuring out a way for your money to compound. And you can do that. Go on YouTube. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is a stronger money mindset. What I'm going over right now, they're not going to teach you in school. System is not designed for that. We have to do it. I'm going to continue to do this as long as there's a breath in my body to help. There's no way we can all get to the levels that we want to get without actually sharing this information with each other. So I want you to remember compounding works the same against you, and it also works for you. You just got to find that right vehicle. And I'm telling you, some of those stocks will help you. A good company, and I don't get paid off this company, is Ameritrade. I'm sure y'all seen it. You can literally set up an Ameritrade account. Here's a quick tip. You can set up your Ameritrade account and then just put money in there monthly. Now remember, the yearly limit is $6,000. So I want you to just keep that in mind. So you can go as high as you want up until $6,000. And that looks good on your taxes, by the way, because they actually deduct that. So it's not even taxable income. All right, let's go over the 4 myths of credit. This is a game changer. So one of the things I want people to know is when it comes to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, when items on your credit report are negative, right? I think what happens is items get on the individual credit report and they don't know that they actually have a right to dispute it. And when you think about myths, there's a lot of myths that happen all about. But in order for you to figure it out what it is, you have to know what you're doing. So it basically protects consumers like you for inaccurate or unverifiable information on your credit report. Here's a tip. So let's say, for instance, and this happened to me. So one of the things that hurt me before was I had the Capital One card, paid the Capital One card, then defaulted on the Capital One card, and then Capital One sold it to Kevin's Debt Collectors. Now, Kevin Debt Collector is calling me, who's a third party. Stay with me. If I would have just disputed it with Kevin's Debt Collector, I could have got out of that. Because if Capital One sold it to him, how are they going to verify the information? When they sell it to him, they cannot give them my information because then they'll violate another law. Man, y'all ain't here. Pastor, they not hearing nothing of this. Not a stronger money. What is it? Pac-Man, what we doing here? So remember what I'm telling you. If you have a situation like how mine was, you defaulted on the card, you stop paying it. It's going to get sold to a third party. Now, on your credit report, it may be a collection, it may be a charge-off. All a charge-off mean is that company's going to get some money from the government because there's a charge-off. They're writing that off. But how can they write it off, but you can't write it off? And you can. You just got to know what you're doing. So anything that's on your credit report could be disputed. That's my point. There's laws that will be able to protect you on that. So people don't realize that. The 3 major credit bureaus are Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Now, I think one of the things that people don't realize, sometimes people think, and I've had people tell me this or ask me this at events, They think it's because they hear credit bureau, it's part of the government. And it's not. These are private companies. Here's the trick. Do you know if you pay your car payment, that car company or that finance company have to then pay to report it to the credit bureaus? Here's what most people don't know. And I was talking to a lady, because this happened to her with her car. She bought her car from a buy here, pay here. So I was asking her, how many trade lines do you have? She said 0. I said, well, how you don't have any trade lines if you're paying your car payment? That's a trade line. She's like, oh, they're not reporting it to the credit bureau. Girl, you can literally, I didn't tell her this, but she could default and still get away. They're violating. They're violating. So these companies, these private companies, my point is they get paid money for people to report negative items on their credit report. Here's a fun fact. Did you know back in the day, you know what they used to do before the whole Isaac Newton credit system was set up? They would come to your job. They will come to your house and verify you. Literally, imagine a creditor coming to your house, want to sit on your couch, asking you questions. I'm like, boy, you better get out of here. These dogs, get them. So just think about how times have changed. I have to pay to see my full report. That's another myth. So everybody gets a free credit report annually every single year for free. Did you know that there's people online, there's people in person that charge people for credit reports? It's insane to me. They're entitled to one for free every single year. And here's what I want to recommend to you. Annualcreditreport.com, I think that's what it is. Yeah. So annualcreditreport.com, I want to recommend that every single year you get a free one. If you haven't gotten one this year, go get a free one. Just to see what's on your credit. Quick story. I remember when I first started working on my credit. Anybody ever use Credit Karma? Or y'all gonna act bougie today? Only 3 of us use Credit Karma? All right, so Credit Karma is a platform that most people look at to see their credit score. Here's what you didn't know. Most people don't realize Credit Karma only shows you what's on Equifax and TransUnion. It doesn't show you what's on your Experian account. I did not know I had negative items on my credit report on my Experian from my brother. I love him. I love him so much. That brother. So here's how I found out. I got my annual credit report because it shows you everything that's on your credit report. Game changer right there. I'm telling you, you better go get it, and it's free. Don't let nobody charge you. Can any company pull your credit at any time? No. They got to get a sign approval, and I know you guys have seen this. So, you ever hear somebody go to the dealership and they say, "Girl, they ran my credit like 15 times." Inquiries. You can walk in there with a 720 and walk out a 530. That's how many times they can run your credit. I said, well, how many times did you assign for them to do that? They said once. Violation. Most people don't know that. Now, I know why they're doing it. This is what they say. We're just shopping around for the best rates. We're just trying to make sure you can get you the best price. You say you want $550. You don't want to go more than $550, right? So we got to do this. And you have to sign off on that. Most people don't complain because guess what they're trying to do? They're trying to smile and drive. Especially if it's in December. It'll be a December to remember. One of the points I wanted to bring back up this week was another big one from last month. This is a critical one. The fact that you can actually add your kids to your credit cards. I get a lot of people asking me about this. So American Express is 13, meaning the age. Bank of America, I don't have a Bank of America, but they have no limit. Okay? Barclays is 13. Capital One, Chase is my favorite, and Citigroup, there's no age. Here's a secret. You want to know what the rich people do? When their kids like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, they add them to the credit card. They literally get certain credit cards just to add them to it. Here's why. When it's time for them to purchase, they're not paying the interest rates we was paying. They're not. They're positioning them. As a matter of fact, they're teaching them about interest rates early. We're going to do the same thing. Faster, stronger, and bigger. Stay with me. All right. So remember, Discover, another one of our favorite. 15 years. My daughter and my son is on that one. U.S. Bank 16 and Wells Fargo is none. So there's no age limit. Now, for those of you who have older children, if they're responsible, I would recommend you add them to your credit cards. I would recommend you do that just to help them. But here's the one caveat. Do not give them the credit card. All right? Don't give them the credit card. Don't say, Coach Kev said you added to give me the. No, I ain't. Don't give them the card. You can add them to it so they can piggyback, so they can get all your history. Did you know if you have a credit card that has 10-year history and your son or your daughter have no history, you need their name, social, date of birth, add them to your credit card, they're going to get all that history. Their credit score is going to go up. Ooh, that sounds like that would work the whole conversation. Did you know if you had a credit card, 10 years, 15-year history, and your son or your daughter had zero credit, no credit at all, you can add them to your credit cards, multiple at that.
Give them the card. Go ahead.
It would increase their credit score, give them a positive trade line. But here's a disclaimer, Pastor just said it. Do not give them the card. Now here's the flip side of that. Let's say, for instance, you default or you get behind and you go over the utilization and your credit score go down. Their credit score gonna go really down. Here's why. They have nothing else to help carry them. That's all they had. So be very mindful of that. Be very, very, very transparent moment. I remember 2 years ago, I had my Discover on auto pay. I don't know why I told my wife that. I had my Discover on auto pay. So I put my wife on my cars because she put me on hers when my credit was broke, busted, and disgusted. So the auto pay I know what happened. I traveled. You ever travel different places and you use your card and then they calling you, hey, Mr. Blake, is that you? And they cut your card. So I ended up telling them, did I lose my card? I ended up getting a new card, right? In the mail, I got a brand new card, but I did not reconnect the auto pay for the new card. My credit score went down a little bit. And guess who was on that credit? My wife was on that card. She came in that kitchen so quick. I was like, what's up? Well, I left the grill on. What did I do? She went ballistic. She's like, babe, you need to watch that. But my point is, if you slip on that, that's going to affect the other person in a negative way, just like it will affect them in a positive way. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're trying to help them. You don't want to hurt them. Now, this is the last few, and I think I'm going to open up for some questions. Just want to make sure we got enough time. Yes, about 8:09. So this right here is game changer. So this is more on just putting something in your head to be thinking about other ways that you can expand. Now, once you send a prayer up and you ask God for whatever you want, He's going to show up with opportunity. He's going to show up with something for you to do. You just got to figure out if that's what you want to do. Now, as an employee, we've all had jobs. I've had multiple jobs. Some I quit, some I got fired. Some I wish I never had it. Like McDonald's taught me a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I learned how to work fast when I was working at McDonald's, boy. Boy, you got to drive through, yes or no? So McDonald's is tough. But an employee. So we usually start off on the employee side. Right now, my kids are thinking about getting into Chick-fil-A, Publix. I think Chick-fil-A and Publix are great starter jobs. McDonald's is too, because you got to learn fast pace. But that's one side of the quadrant, right? Being an employee. Okay? The next part under it is self-employed. I remember I was there. Quick story. I had a life coaching company. It was called You Strive Coaching, and I traveled everywhere. I did a lot of youth empowerment. I remember I got a contract from Dr. Oz. I was excited about that contract, boy. I was excited about that. It was money coming in. I was helping people. It was great. We went to Tampa. We had an event. And so certain places I go, I'll have my wife and my kids, they're enjoying themselves while I go get to work. They could benefit from my labor, right? And then I could get with y'all later and we can have fun. So for some reason, I didn't want to do the talk. You ever commit to something and then you say, man, I just want to spend time. I literally just wanted to spend time with the kids and my wife. I was all up there. I was excited. And because I was self-employed, I'm getting somewhere with that. Who am I going to tag in? It's just me. A beautician, self-employed. My barber, self-employed. A caterer, or cook, or chef, self-employed. A mechanic, how you gonna transfer that? You got it, self-employed. And I realized I don't want to be the one-man show. It took everything out of me. I finished the contract with Dr. Oz. It was a good one. But I never forget when my wife told me she felt like a single mom. I was scratching my head because I was like, hold on, I'm here. Like, I'm providing, I'm here. But I was there, but I wasn't there. That makes sense? I was working. I was trying to figure out how can I provide for them. So it taught me self-employed wasn't the avenue that I needed to go. And I had to learn it by going through it. Because every place that they wanted, imagine if pastors say, stronger money mindset, Coach Kev, how can I replace me? Who else is gonna come? Who else is gonna do that? So self-employed was that thing. The reason why I can do these things now is because the other side of the quadrant. Business owners. In order for you to build a business, right, you have to know what you're doing. You have to get a mentor, but you also have a powerful word, which is leverage. Leverage is critical. Every job that we've ever worked at, we were being leveraged. Every job we've ever worked at, or maybe now, you're being leveraged. Here's how I know. When I worked at the ad agency, guess who wasn't there every day? The CEO. He was leveraging us. I said, I need some of that leverage stuff. How do you spell that? I need some of that L word. How do you get leverage? And I realized that what he was doing was, as I was training all the new people, I was duplicating his leverage. Think about that. But I had no idea the importance of leverage. Why? Middle school, high school, no one ever taught me the word leverage. But guess what the millionaires and billionaires teach their kids? Leverage. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Investor. So you have the BNI quadrant. Most people start off on the left side, employee, self-employed. That's the left side of the quadrant. The goal is to get to the right side of the quadrant. The challenge I'm having right now, transparent moment, guess what my kids want to start off at? The right side of the quadrant. I say, y'all gotta go, you gotta go through it. How you gonna learn work ethic? How you gonna learn responsibility if you don't start off on the left side? Well, Daddy, you're not there. I said, I earned to be on the right side. So I had to learn leverage. I had to become a business owner, okay? And then I had to learn how to become an investor. But if you have nothing to invest, how can you get a return on the investment? Then I had to learn how to save my money so I could get a return on my investment. So if you're not on the right side of the quadrant yet, you will be there. And you can get there in multiple ways. But if I had to give you one tip, I would tell you be patient with yourself, but have urgency. I'm going to say that one more time. Be patient with yourself, but have urgency. It's difficult sometimes. Okay? And when you look at that, the investor mindset, it changes everything because everything is almost an investment if you allow it to be. And it can be very, very fruitful. Last slide, and then I'll open up for some questions. Rules to know about money. Never buy depreciating stuff on your credit. Sometimes you have to, like a car. As soon as the car leaves the lot, what does it do? Depreciate. But you need a car. Right? It's funny. We think these phones actually is not a liability. It could be an asset for every person. Disclaimer. Everybody think they got a smartphone. If your phone is not making you money, you got a dumb phone. I'm gonna say that again. Everybody think they got a smartphone. If your phone not making you money, you got a dumb phone. And it can be done. It can be done. I'm not telling you go turn in your phones. I'm just saying leverage them. Invest 10% of your income. I think you could do more. Track your income and your expenses. I think that's critical. I had to learn a lot with that. And go step by step. One of the keys that you could do that is log into your bank account and just one day. Now do it on a day when you're feeling good. I messed up. When I started looking at the money I was spending, I was starting to get depressed. My accountant told me one day, he's like, Coach, I don't know what restaurants y'all going to, but y'all need to stop. My accountant said that. I said, well, I'm using a business card. It's a write-off, right? Not 100%, Coach. So you definitely want to make sure you track your expenses, log into your bank account, log into your phone, figure out where the money's going. And then another tip, have something to write with and something to write on and just write the numbers down. Don't think about what it is. If you see $15, you don't know where it goes, $15, okay, $18, and just write them all down. Just write them all down and then add it all up. You don't have to do that every single month, but I promise you, if you do it one time, you ain't gonna never forget the number. And that'll shake, that'll change, help you change your habit. Because then you'll start to see how much money you're literally throwing away. Okay? Oh, this is a big one, number 4. Don't take financial decisions in emotion. So I think I used to make those type of decisions emotionally, but I just think when we make these decisions, we need to be thinking about, is it going to help me or hurt me? Right now, my son is trying to get me to get this PlayStation. What they number on right now? 5 or 6? Which one? I think it's 5. So here's his pitch. Dad, I'm the only one that don't have a PlayStation 5. I said, son, you're going to be the only one with a property at 19. Put him in a whole different perspective. Okay, Daddy, I see what you're trying to do. But he had a backup plan. He's going to be saving for his little video game. I refuse to do it. Stop trying to get rich quick. It's more like get rich slow, which is better than get rich never. Don't worry about getting rich quick. Get rich slow, which is better than getting rich never. Prior to this information that I'm sharing with you, and this is just the second series, it's changed my entire life. I can see a way where wealth is accumulating and riches are here that I could pass on. But here's what I was afraid of when I first got on this journey. Were my kids gonna be stronger and smart enough to carry it on? I tell my kids, you don't have to do what I'm doing. Like it's not easy. But can you keep the money going? Can you keep our bloodline going? Can you continue to invest? Can you keep the knowledge going? Can you pass this to your kids? Don't try to get rich quick. It usually never works. Always research before you invest. Have an emergency fund. I don't know about 5 months. I think 6 months. I think 7 months. I don't think there's a time, but have an emergency fund. I remember I was part of a company and the company went down. I lost income for 6 months. You want to know why I still have my Benz? You want to know why I still have my house? I saved. I diversified. I was consistent. And on those months where the money was just swimming in it, 40,000, 30,000, I just kept saving like a squirrel. Just kept saving. And that's what you want to do because the harvest is going to come. And most people, their harvest come tax time. I used to happen. They get that big lump sum check. I remember I got that check, but I was rich for 2 weeks. You hear me? I was excited. I didn't know what to do with that money. And then Nike got most of it. All right? Build passive income in different sources. Focus on reading things that's money related. Quick tip. Go on YouTube and put, when you get a moment, money quotes. That's all you got to do. YouTube, put money quotes. You're going to start hearing. So when you're driving, yeah, you can listen to 305. You can listen to 99 Jams. You can listen to all that. But while you're driving, let your car be the university to teach you money. When I'm driving home, when I'm going home right now, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm pretty sure if I go on my phone right now, oh, look.
In changing, we must all hang together, or assuredly we shall all hang separately. When you are finished changing, you're finished.
So my point is, I'm always feeding my mind with different ways because something can hit you. You could be somewhere thinking about something totally different, and then it just hits you. All the stuff that you were learning. And then the last thing is understand cash flow. And the best way to understand the cash flow, you have to know where your cash is flowing and where is it going. There's a few things that you're going to have to do, and I'm going to leave you with this. It's one word I'm going to say 3 times. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Lastly, the power of saying no. Ooh, you remember that? When my brother called me, Kev, can I have? No. Son, you know I've been looking at this purse. No, mommy, I love you. No. My cousin, Coach, I got this crazy idea. No. I get cool with it though now. I say the no. One time I flipped it on my brother. He asked me for money. You know what I did? I said, I was just about to call you to ask you for money. My brother, he's like, hello? I just thought of it. He's like, you need money? I said, no, but I just want to see what you was going to say. So discipline, and be okay with saying no. So I want to open up for some questions before we go. Any questions about anything that you heard today? Any takeaways? I want to give out a little bit more cash. Anybody give me any takeaways? Anything they learned today? Oh, cash, moolah. I want to give out some cash for the people that's humanly in person, that's live in person.
Say that one more time for the people who can
We gonna give out some cash. Can anybody give me a takeaway from today? So good point on the promissory notes. A promissory note is a promise to pay the bank. So when you purchase your property or your mortgage, you're signing a promissory note and saying, hey, I'm gonna pay Caliber. I'm gonna pay them every single month. And that's also considered a performing note. And if you want to invest into a non-performing note, this is for people who has a mortgage, but they defaulted and they're about to go into foreclosure. Those are non-performing notes, and you can actually invest into those too. So good one. That's a good one. Anybody else? Any other giveaway? I see some of y'all writing some good notes. Which y'all holding them? Y'all holding them? Yes. Yes. So she said you can report your rental payments to Equifax and TransUnion for what I have, and then Experian is separate. But yes, you can do that. You can knock out all three. Anybody else? Yes, you can call and have it disputed, but you also can do a dispute in writing. Here's a tip with the writing. When you dispute anything on your credit report, now remember, I do credit, but I'm giving you this free stuff. When you're disputing, don't dispute online because you're forfeiting your right. You want to dispute in writing. Another key point, let's say, for instance, there's a credit card that was sold to a third party, and you want to settle with them. You you defaulted, and you know the right thing is to settle with them. If you originally owed $1,000, right, from the Capital One, then they sold it to Kevin's debt collector. Now Kevin's like, man, he just a collector. He's like, man, you give me $800 right now, we're good. Now if I pay Kevin, which is the third party debt collector, I need Kevin Company to give me a note in writing to say pay to delete. If I pay this, you're gonna delete this from my credit report. Because if you don't, they're gonna say paid not equal to value. So basically, if you owe $1,000 and you paid them $800 or $500, it'll still be on your credit report, but they'll just close it out. So definitely dispute, but I wouldn't do it just online. I would do it in writing. Anybody else? Any other takeaways? Yes, ma'am. Yes, challenge the inquiries that they do, but what I would tell them also is at the beginning, before you even run your credit, say you only can run it once. So I would tell them that at the beginning, because you're not going to sign anything until it's time for you to get the car, per se. So everything is technically going to be word of mouth, or what you're saying verbally. Any other takeaways? Yes. Oh, did y'all hear that? So let's say, for instance, you have a child or your kid, and they don't have any credit, and you want to start helping them establish and build positive trade line. You can add them to your actual credit cards to help them start building their own credit, but also don't give them the card unless they're responsible. You can give it to them. Yes, Pastor.
You keep using a word that may be new to many people. Trade line.
Okay, explain that. So what's a trade line? So a trade line is, example of a trade line is your credit card. This is you're paying consistently to a company, and it's going to be reported to the credit bureau as a positive trade line. Okay? Your car note, that's a positive trade line. You paying your mortgage is a positive trade line. A secure credit card. For instance, when my credit was horrible, I could not get a regular credit card. People didn't even send me offers. My credit was so bad. I couldn't even get a library card, and they free. Think about how bad my credit was, right? So I got a secure credit card, meaning I put money on the card to create a positive trade line, and then they start sending me offers. So positive trade lines are something you just basically going through your commitment, paying the company, whether it's a loan, whether it's a credit card, whatever it is, you're paying it consistently is a positive trade line. Even a rent reporting is actually a positive trade line as well. And when you're thinking about trade lines, anytime you want to get a loan for your house, they even ask, they look to see how many trade lines you have. And are you paying them consistently on time and right? All right? A trade line, that was a deep one. Anybody else? I don't know if that was a giveaway, Pastor, but yeah, he ain't gonna let it go without them. Yeah. Yeah. They can. No, they can. That's a good point. So let's say, for instance, and I've had clients who were in that situation. Specifically, one of my clients, her daughter is in college, very responsible girl. Her mom messed her credit up helping her brothers, right? So the daughter has a 700 and something credit score. I recommend that the daughter put her mom on her credit, and it works the same exact way. It's just the daughter told her mom, I don't know if I'm like literally, she told her mom, why? Because her mom wasn't making the right decisions. You know what I mean? And I told her, I said, you can still do it, just don't give your mom the card. She's like, oh, okay, I got it. That was a situation for that. Just don't give them the card. But yes, if you can put your mom, you can help your mom out, folks. Help your mom, help your friends, help your cousins. Lastly, be careful with that. There's actually people out there that will try to charge you $2,000, $3,000 for a trade line. Think about that. So imagine I have a 760 right now, and then Mary says, hey, coach, I'll pay you $2,000 because I know you have that one card, that Chase Freedom. You have 15 years. I add them to my credit. Their score is going to shoot up. Then they're going to go purchase what they need to purchase, and then I take them off my credit. People actually do that. They just charge you a lot of money. So be careful with that because it's illegal. I wouldn't charge anybody for that. So do it for family and friends that you care and you love and you want to help them. But that's a big business, believe it or not. So crazy. Any other questions? Robinhood is Robinhood is not like a Ameritrade where it's regulated like that. You know what I'm saying? So Robinhood, yeah, you can get crypto. Yeah, you can buy stocks. Yeah, you can get your tax information. But I don't recommend Robinhood. Yeah, I do recommend Ameritrade. And it's another one. I forgot the name of it. Scott's. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Not E-Trade. Scott's. Anyway, it's gonna come to me. Yes. So here's the thing. I'm not a financial advisor, but here's what I want to recommend you do first. Go on YouTube and type in top 10 stocks with dividends. And then copy that same thing and then put it on Google. Because you're going to hear somebody's going to give you a video and you'll be able to see the top 10 stocks. And then you'll see it on Google. You see the top 10 stocks. Then you can get on Robinhood or you can get on Ameritrade to look at the stocks to see how much it's worth. Maybe there's a stock that's $200, right? These days, you could do partial. You could do percentages of a stock. You don't have to actually do the whole stock. And you could do that with Robinhood. Yep. You can. You can, but I don't trust the banks like that. You can. You can. Some of the people at the banks don't have accounts, but you could. You could. But if you do that first, you have my information. I'm not going to charge you for anything, but you can pick my brain. But if you do that first, do the top 10 dividend stocks on YouTube and then do it on Google, you're going to get a lot of, because finding a platform to do it is easy. Finding the right stocks is the hard part because you got to do your homework. Okay, I don't want you to just be like, okay, I want to do Coca-Cola. I had Coca-Cola today. No. Bank of America, as much as I hate Bank of America, they have a great dividend product. And then another industry I'm looking at is EV. I'm going to leave y'all with this. I want you to think forward, right? I want you to think forward. I think in 2030 or 2035 in California, they're going to take all cars like my car off the road, and it's going to be EV. Electrical vehicles. Watch this. Here's another way I'm going to diversify. I'm telling y'all before it happened, I'm telling you I'm going to do it. You know what I noticed with the EVs? How do they get power? They got to plug in. Is there more gas stations than EV stations? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest into multiple EV ports to charge and make money off the charge. Everything's going to go green. So we got to get ahead of that. And I will never forget, I was driving, coming from Tallahassee, and every time you go to, when you pull off and you go put gas in the car, I always saw the gas station and 2 little charges for the electric cars. Imagine a full gas station with full electric. Ooh, that's not even my idea. That's for everybody. But we got to be thinking diversification. How can we move forward with everything that's moving forward? So I can see it's going to be we're going to be here. But I love that. Thank you guys so very much just for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Next month, the last Wednesday of the month, we're going to be doing another Stronger Money Mindset. We want you to be in the place. You cannot get cash at home. You want to be in person. And the energy is just amazing. And it's nothing better than being in the house of God. I've been all over the country and I've spoken and taught, but it's nothing like this energy. You feel that agape love. Ooh, they missed that agape, huh? Oh, y'all didn't think I knew that, huh? All right. But thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you. I will be back again next month, God willing. And if you follow everything I'm telling you to do, we'll meet you at the TOP. Go ahead, Mr. Pastor.
Meet you at the top. Come on, y'all, give him some. Amen. Y'all, it's time for us to go. Y'all hit him with it. Big God. Big God. Big money. Big money. Big mission. Big mission. One more time. Big God. Big God. Big money. Big money. Big mission. Big mission. We got a big God. Big God. He know how to send big money to help you with your big mission. So if you got a big mission, you need to ask for big money. Because he's a big God. Amen. God bless your heart. We see y'all in the place next month. God bless your heart. It's the Stronger Money Mindset.